All right, good evening. I will call to order the June 11th, 2026 regular meeting of the Park Board of Commissioners. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we have the roll call, please?
President Ruffing?
Here.
Vice President Anzier, absent. Commissioner Balkrishna? Here. Commissioner Jacks, absent. Commissioner Janner?
Here.
Commissioner Riswald?
Here.
Commissioner Thompson?
Here.
President Ruffing, I've been informed that Commissioner Jacks has requested to participate remotely due to unanticipated family obligations.
Move to allow the remote meeting participation of Commissioner Jacks per Section 7 of the Open Meetings Act.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Riswald?
Yep.
Commissioner Balkrishna?
Yes.
Commissioner Janner?
Yes.
President Ruffing?
Yes. Commissioner Jacks, can you hear us okay?
Yes, hi, good evening.
Great, welcome. All right, do we have any matters from the public?
We do not.
All right, we will move on to updates and reports. Beginning with Riverwalk. The Riverwalk Commission met yesterday. We discussed various project updates, including the North Central College Riverwalk Park. The next Riverwalk meeting is scheduled for July 8th at 8:15 a.m. at the Municipal Center. For Finance Committee, there is no report. Legislative Committee.
Yes, the Legislative Committee met on May 28th, and we discussed Ordinance 641 and updates to various sections, such as definitions of e-scooters, e-bikes, and e-cycles, expanding on types of vendors that are allowed and not allowed to sell without permits in our parks, prohibiting placing trail cameras on our property, and prohibiting the use of fireplaces in our parks for cooking food, amongst other updates. We went over our new mission, vision, and core value statements, and then heard some new legislative updates of bills that are on our radar, including a bill that was amended so we can easily fulfill new requirements of child care laws, whereas the former bill would have been quite burdensome for us. So we were very excited to see that update. We received many updates about grants that were in the works, and we are so extremely grateful to our state representatives, Representative Stava, Representative Yang Roar, and Senator Ellman for their continued advocacy in securing these funds for us to improve our community.
Thank you. Parks and Rec.
We do not have an update. We did not meet this month.
Thank you. All right, on to the President's report. Summer has officially arrived with great weather and all. And the Park District has so much going on. Executive Director Wilson will be highlighting some of our summer programming shortly, but with so very much available, I know it can be tough to decide where to start. So I just wanted to highlight a few favorites because not only do we have a lot to offer, but so much of it is free. Our Concerts in Our Park series brings free live music to neighborhood parks all summer long, including this Sunday at Three Meadows Park. The Children's Lunch Hour Entertainment also offers free weekday shows for children, and A Night at the Movies brings outdoor film screenings later in the summer, while the Millennium Carillon Recital Series fills the air with beautiful music at Rotary Hill on most weekends and Tuesday evenings. And for folks who love to be active outdoors, Knock Knolls Nature Center has programs for all ages, including a trail system that's perfect for walking or biking, and the recently reconfigured disc golf course is ready for play. And of course, a walk along the Riverwalk is always a great way to enjoy summer. So I just encourage everyone to get out there and have fun. A few staff milestone anniversaries to acknowledge for June, starting with Andy Kehoe, a vehicle and equipment technician, is celebrating 5 years of service. Jill Macher, a payroll administrator, is celebrating 15 years of service. And very specially, Director of Planning, Eric Schutz, who I'm very sorry he's not here with us today, is celebrating 25 years of service this month. So thank you to all of them. Moving on to the Executive Director report.
Thank you, President Ruffing. I would first like to begin my report this evening by taking an opportunity to thank our parks maintenance teams for their efforts in the wake of yesterday's storms. Several parks in the downtown area and northern region of the community, including the Riverwalk and Centennial Beach, experienced many downed trees and limbs. Parks crews began responding immediately last evening to assess damage and close areas of concern. Throughout today, teams worked extensively to clear damage, including working in conjunction with a tree contractor to clear the Centennial Beach grounds. As a result of their efforts, the beach is scheduled, as of now, before any other storms, to reopen tomorrow with normal hours. Over the next several days, our crews will continue the cleanup efforts at affected parks. We appreciate the community's patience as we work to address all of the damage caused by the storm. Thank you again to our maintenance teams for their efforts today and in the days to come. And then moving on to some of those events, the Park District's popular free outdoor fitness series returns this summer to 95th Street Community Plaza. Your favorite instructors from the Fort Hill Fitness will lead morning yoga on Saturday, June 20th, and Zumba party in the park on Friday, July 24th. Advanced registration is required. Celebrate the opening of 3 newly renovated playgrounds this summer. The Park District will host ribbon cutting events on select Tuesdays at 5 o'clock at Apache Park on June 23rd, Willoway Park on July 7th, and Burr Oak Park on July 14th. Residents will have the opportunity to explore the new amenities and enjoy light refreshments. Join the Park District and the City of Naperville for the annual Community Fireworks Show presented by Woody Buick GMC. This year's celebration of America's 250th anniversary will feature a free patriotic concert by the Naperville Municipal Band at 7:30 p.m. at Wagner Pavilion at the 95th Street Community Plaza, followed by a spectacular fireworks display at Frontier Sports Complex at 9:30 p.m. Admission and parking are free. And finally, the Park District and Brightside Theater are bringing Broadway to local parks this summer with the free Summer in the Parks series. These family-friendly outdoor performances feature popular musical theater favorites and will be presented at several park locations throughout July and August, beginning July 9th at the 95th Street Community Plaza. Additional information on our programs, events, and facilities, and other Naperville Park District news can be found on our website at napervilleparks.org. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we will move on to the treasurer's report.
Move to approve the April 2026 Treasurer's Report.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Risbald?
Yes.
Commissioner Balakrishna?
Yes.
Commissioner Jacks?
Yes.
Commissioner Janner?
Yes.
Commissioner Risbald?
Yep.
President Ruffin?
Yes.
Sorry.
You're fine. All right, Marissa, will you please read the consent agenda for us?
Item 5.1, approve May 2026 disbursements in the amount of $2,850,898.58. 5.2, approve May 2026 disbursements made through the Bank of America Purchasing Card Program in the amount of $276,933.27. 5.3, approve May 2026 FinTech disbursements in the amount of $12,015.25. 5.4, approve May 2026 customer refunds in the amount of $1,911.25. 5.5, approve May 28, 2026 regular meeting minutes. 5.6, approve May 28, 2026 executive session closed meeting minutes. 5.7, accept the base bid of Landworks LTD in the amount of $481,225 as the lowest responsive and responsible bid, and to award the contract for general construction associated with the Nike Sports Complex ball field renovations project, and to authorize staff to carry a further 5% contingency for a total authorized expenditure for the project in an amount not to exceed $505,286. 5.8, award the contract for the Millennium Carillon Visitors Center Exterior Improvements Project to Anthony Roofing Tecta America LLC in the amount of $44,500, and to authorize staff to carry a further 5% contingency for a total authorized expenditure for the project in an amount not to exceed $46,725. 5.9, approve change order number 1 for the Environmental Professional Services contract for the Heritage Woods Expansion Property Project in the amount of $492,000 to Geologic Associates, Inc. for a total contract amount of $513,810. 5.10, reject the bid from Obsidian Asphalt Paving, Inc. for failure to submit a responsive bid and to accept the base bid for the Meadow Glens renovations and new sand volleyball court installation project from Innovation Landscape, Inc. as the lowest responsive and responsible bid in the amount of $425,972.23, and to authorize staff to carry a further 5% contingency for a total authorized expenditure for the project in an amount not to exceed $447,270. 5.11, move to ratify the action of staff rejecting all bids from the April 2026 bid opening and to award the contract for the Commissioners Park Dumpster Enclosure Development Project revised scope to ProVantage Systems with the lowest responsive and responsible bid in the amount of $39,922, and to authorize staff to carry a further 5% contingency for a total authorized expenditure for the project in an amount not to exceed $41,918. 5.12, approve the purchase of one Toro Z Master 7500D 12-foot ZTR rotary mower in the amount of $68,311.19 from Spartan Turf Products through the district's membership in the Sourcewell Purchasing Network. 5.13, approve the purchase of one Harper TurboVac TV60 turf sweeper in the amount of $53,033.30 from Spartan Turf Products through the district's membership in the Omnia Cooperative Purchasing Network. 5.14, approve ordinance 1094, authorizing a grant of temporary construction easement between the Naperville Park District and United States Geological Survey at Springbrook Parkway for the temporary relocation of a gauging station.
Thank you. And should any items be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately? Seeing none?
Move to accept the consent agenda, items 5.1 through 5.14.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Griswold?
Yes.
Commissioner Balkrishna?
Yes.
Commissioner Jacks?
Yes.
Commissioner Janner?
Yes.
President Ruffing?
Yes.
Move to approve consent agenda, items 5.1 through 5.14.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, seeing no unfinished business, we'll move on to new business, beginning with 7.1, ordinance number 641 updates.
Yes, staff and legal counsel recently completed a full review of the district's Park District Ordinance 641, which regulates the use of parks and property owned or controlled by the Naperville Park District. The last full review occurred in spring of 2024. Included in the June 5th weekly packet and with the materials prepared for tonight's agenda is a draft copy of proposed changes to the ordinance using track changes. The proposed changes were reviewed with the Legislative Committee at their May 28th meeting, and some of those proposed changes to the ordinance include several updates to definitions, proposed increases to fines for ordinance violations. In many cases, fines are proposed to increase to $50 if paid within 10 days of issuance or $100 if paid after 10 days. While many in the past for many, many years have been set at $25 and $50. Updates to Section 2.11, commercial sale, exhibition, or distribution of goods or services, establishing that requests must be made a minimum of 30 days in advance for the requested facility use date. Updates to Section 2.16, unlawful construction, maintenance, or encroachment, which expands upon the types of items that cannot be placed in parks, such as audio, video, or photo recording or transmitting devices, among others. There's updates to Section 2.26, which is our parades, public assemblies, or meetings. And what this one is it updates expanding the Millennium Carillon Amphitheater to include Rotary Hill as one of the identified free speech areas on the Riverwalk. The Carillon Amphitheater and Rotary Hill are often used for some of those larger free speech events that do take place in the community. And updates to Section 3.02, micromobility devices, adding language to reinforce that e-scooters are prohibited on district property and expanding upon the requirements for Class 1 and 2 electric cycles that are allowed on trails. The proposed update also increases fines for violation of this section to a minimum of $100 and a maximum of $500. And the update also identifies that the Park District shall have the discretion and authority to impound micromobility devices or other devices. After receiving feedback from the board this evening, staff will finalize the ordinance and submit it for board consideration at the June 25th meeting.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Commissioner Jackson, any questions?
No questions. no.
Okay.
Just a quick question just popped in my mind. Attorney Price, do you know of any park districts that have ordinances related to helmets? I mean, I see these scooters all over the place, and that's fine, but I just see so many kids not out there with helmets, and I just don't know, are there other park districts or municipalities that have any ordinance whatsoever related to helmets? Because it seems to be a big safety issue that maybe we're silent on, don't want to over-administer, but...
No, nobody's passed an ordinance requiring a helmet. Like the state of Illinois, a couple have recommended them, but now that it's largely you have to be 15 or above to do it, you know, it's one more thing that you're going to be chasing them down for that you're not going to catch them on. So I think as part of the education piece, everybody's recommending helmets for those 15-year-olds and older who have these devices, but that's the most anybody's done.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Moving on to 7.2, board policy updates.
Yeah, the board policy updates, this is a bit of a housekeeping item. So included in the June 5th weekly packet and with the materials prepared for tonight's agenda was draft copy of proposed changes to the board policies 1.0, 2.0, and 2.1. The proposed changes, they reflect the updated mission, vision, and core values that the board approved as part of the 2026 through 2028 strategic plan. So with that approval of the updated mission, vision, core values in the strategic plan, we need to also update the board policies related to that. So wanted to present it this evening, and then the thought is we will finalize and bring that for board approval also at the June 25th meeting.
Great. Any questions? All right. Moving on to 7.3, Community Activity Center at Frontier Sports Complex, Construction Management Services.
Yes, the next step in design and development process for the new Community Activity Center at Frontier Sports Complex is to select a construction management services firm and submit a contract for those services to the board for approval. The construction management services contract will be brought to the board as an expenditure over $30,000. Because the construction management services are professional services requiring expertise and experience, they are exempt from the competitive bidding process otherwise required by Park District Code. As described earlier and included in the June 5th weekly packet, the construction management team will assist the district in 2 phases. Phase 1 includes pre-construction, including cost estimating, constructability review, product availability and lead times, schedule development, preparation of the multi-prime contractor bid packages and general conditions obligations, and bid evaluation of the lowest responsive and responsible bids and bidding contractors. And phase 2 will include preparation of a guaranteed maximum price or GMP proposal, also known as an at-risk proposal, with the associated on-site construction management work through completion. The GMP includes the cost of prime contracts, the cost to the CM for management and provision of the general conditions, and the cost to the CM for management and provision of the insurance and risk management program. The second phase will be determined with greater accuracy much closer to the actual commencement of construction. Both phases of work are essential to developing a project that can be delivered on time and within budget. At the request of the board, staff undertook the same selection process for the construction management services that the Park District used to select the firm for the Fort Hill Activity Center project. Staff released a request for proposal, or RFP document, that provided information about the facility developed ahead of the referendum and requested qualification statements and proposed fees for construction management services. Staff reached out to construction management firms working for other units of government in and around Naperville, firms with known Park District experience with the Naperville Park District and other districts, and firms that commissioners and others brought to the attention of staff. 4 firms submitted proposals. The Park District staff selection team reviewed all submissions and requested additional information and clarifications. Next, the Park District staff ranked the firms according to the following criteria, which were the same criteria used for the Fort Hill selection. The criteria is history and firm experience, both general and specific to this type of project, methodology and approach to this project, capability to complete this type of project on schedule, and quality of the proposal. In staff's opinion, White Construction Services Incorporated demonstrated the best qualifications, technical expertise, and related experience to provide construction management services for this type of project. The selection team evaluated the construction management fees submitted as part of the RFP request. The CM fee is the compensation paid to a firm for overseeing the construction project. It covers the CM's services for planning, coordination, and executing the development on schedule and within budget. From the project budget of $119,750,000, the team assumed a total construction cost at $100 million for purposes of this evaluation process. The team identified the rate of 2.75% of the construction cost for the CM fee as being appropriate when considering firm responses and the large-scale complexity and extensive labor and resources required to successfully develop the Community Activity Center. In addition to the CM fee, White submitted a pre-construction fee in the amount of $461,000. The staff selection team identified the importance of the construction management team and estimators being actively involved in the design phase, providing real-time cost estimating to ensure the project is delivered within budget, devoting substantial time to the development of the bid packages to reflect contemporaneous market conditions, and assisting in the evaluation of the bids received. The actual cost of the pre-construction fee will be determined by a set rate on an hourly basis aligned with the support needed by the project team during this phase of work. This is the same approach the district used successfully for the Fort Hill Activity Center. Staff recommends awarding a contract for construction management services at risk that will provide a GMP and guaranteed project development schedule for the total scope of work, similar to the framework and terms incorporated in the previous Fort Hill Activity Center development contract. The contract, though framed for the entire project through completion, will be developed and awarded in the same 2 phases set forth above: pre-construction and construction administration. A contract for the first phase will be developed and presented to the board. It will include the CM fee for the full project and the pre-construction fee. The GMP with general conditions and risk management programming will be developed and added to the contract in the second phase. From the outset, however, the CM contract will reflect the budget limits set by the park board for the project. As decisions are made and design becomes more specific in the design development phase, the GMP and any contingencies will be brought back to the board for final approval. Moreover, staff recommends that the district finalize and present the construction manager's insurance and general conditions costs with the final GMP, which follows the completion of programming decisions, project design and schedule, and estimating to best ensure accurate quantities and costs to develop the community activity center within budget. This evening, staff is providing its recommendation to choose White for construction management professional services for the new community activity center at Frontier Sports Complex, and request concurrence from the board to award the construction management services contract to White based on the qualifications selection process. If there's an interest to proceed, staff will prepare and the board would then consider the contract for construction management professional services with the CM fee and pre-construction fees for presentation and approval at the June 25th meeting. The contract for phase 1 of work, including the construction management fee and pre-construction fee, is approximately $3.3 million.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
All right. Who has questions?
Brad, can you clarify for the public, what's the total bottom line on this? Because when we went through the architecture contract, we got to a bottom line. This bottom line number is obviously much lower than we originally predicted. So what is the total bottom line number that will end up when you add both phases? Or are you suggesting that the second phase can't be determined until down the road?
The second phase would be determined when we have additional information on the total design and the costs associated with that.
But would we be awarding White both phases now, and then the second phase would be open from a numbers standpoint?
We would be Attorney Price, you want to jump?
So the contract does foresee their obligations to develop a guaranteed maximum price and to administer everything. What we're locking them in and only agreeing to pay for now is through the bidding phase. And when we get to about 90% of the construction design phase and maybe the first trade package or two are in, they will develop the guaranteed maximum price. And that's an amendment then to this agreement that locks in the final construction price, the guaranteed maximum price, and their fees. It will also lock in at that time what general conditions are. Right now, general conditions are all over the map, so to speak. When we did the discussion with the various firms that submitted, they varied by much as 20% because nobody could get a handle on what the market was going to be at the time. So we aren't committing to anybody's general conditions pricing at this point because we don't want to overpay. They would be hedging against the risk, and we would probably overpay. So we're going to do that when we're closer. We understand what the city of Naperville is going to require from us in terms of general conditions. And the same goes for the insurance. Insurance adds about $1 million to this as a cost, but that we're not going to price that in this market. This is one of the hardest markets ever. And so we get the luxury of waiting, and so we're not going to price or guarantee White those monies until we get closer, and then we'll price it.
Good.
I guess I kind of think of it backwards, and so I just want to understand, by delaying locking in the price, we're actually creating more opportunity for us to save.
That is true. We are creating better, well, at least we believe, given the market conditions today, that we'll be in a better position in about a year and a half, 2 years from now. We don't think it could get worse. That being said, the guaranteed maximum price would always be developed down the road because we're really only, if we're even there, 10% of knowing what the design is going to be. We know it's a pool. We know it's going to look like this, but not much more than that. And so developing the guaranteed maximum price, that always comes when we're at about 80% of the design completion, and we're nowhere close to that.
As we're going through this, are there opportunities now to drill down and itemize things that we can say, well, the market for X actually is good now versus the market for Y is bad? We can lock in the price on steel now versus concrete later.
Well, it's a great question. We won't be able to lock in something like steel because what steel is required is going to be dimensioned and all the rest. It has to be fabricated. You just don't get to buy the raw product. However, it's a great question because, and this was one of the things that made White stand out in this regard, the amount of time of senior people that they listed for pre-construction services was dramatically more concentrated than any other candidate. And the advantage there is if, for example, HVAC units, and we kind of know what they'll be, if they're at a place where we can get them and lock in savings through either a purchasing agent or whatever, we can, with their pre-construction awareness and the amount of time they're devoting to it, that would be opportunities to buy those and warehouse them. We didn't do it for a year and a half here, but we did do it for a few things that are in this building now, where we bought them ahead of time, assigned them to the contractor, and we saved money. Eric's really good at that kind of thing. So between Eric and White, eyes will be open, ears will be open, listening and aware of those kinds of opportunities to buy equipment that we can warehouse and assign later.
And we think that design, I mean, it says it here, but we're confident that design process is a 12 to 18 month process. It's not a 24 or 36 month process.
I don't have the right piece of paper on the wall to answer that, but that's what we're told by Williams.
And that's consistent. That's consistent with the time frame. When we built this facility, it was working through about a 12-month time frame, and that's based on the design schedule right now. That is what they're working off of.
So, for example, a couple of things that need to happen. We've got to go to the city and make sure that we can get the variance for height. We're no higher than the library building, but it's technically a variance. So Williams can't even design the height officially until we get that permission. I don't see the city rejecting the will of the voters who told us to build this thing. But anyway, we got to get that done. Then we don't know what the load-bearing capacity of the soils are out there, right? So we got to do some geotechnical research and drilling and all that. And then Williams has to fold that into its design. So that's why it takes a year and a half to do it.
Having worked with Williams and White in the past, do we gain speed because they're familiar with this building, they're familiar with the ordinances, the community? Like, do we accelerate anything to our advantage?
Yeah, they absolutely have intellectual knowledge or capital, having worked with us a number of different times as to what the district's expectations are. They've worked very well as a team previously, especially as we work through pre-construction. As Attorney Price was mentioning, White's senior leadership and the resources that they put towards the pre-construction and being involved in all of those design meetings that we have, they're part of and would be part of, in this case, the various meetings that we have with Williams every step of the way as we're working through design.
That's the in general answer. In the specific case of the new facility, they've already been doing that. That's because in order to develop a reliable number that we could faithfully share with the voters about what the building was going to cost, we needed Williams to stretch beyond a normal concept to something that involved spaces like we have here and their experience building pools. And White was with them, with the senior leadership, helping refine their numbers so that we had the most confidence we could possibly have in sharing with the voting public, this is what it's actually going to cost you. It doesn't do us any good to lowball it or highball it. That wouldn't serve the mission of the Park District. So to come up with the best number possible to tell the voting public, this is what you're signing up for if you authorize this, that White's senior leadership and Williams were already working to develop good numbers as much as you can around what the building is. And we saw it's in this process, the QBS process of looking at the other firms, we saw that was an advantage to White because White's familiarity with this building gave them greater detail about costs. There was a big spread over what people thought building costs would be, but as we explored some of that, it was, oh, well, you didn't realize these walls here are precast or that the pool's going to be this kind of thing. So even though we asked for more information and tried to clarify those things, that's one of the reasons we just equalized for fee discussion it's $100 million building because the variations because of lack of knowledge across everybody. So we wanted to say, look, you're at a handicap. We're just going to do it 100 million. What's your fee? And that's how we got to that.
So before we, first of all, I think this is a good direction. Before we undertook this RFP process, I believe White had presented a contract for consideration that maybe totaled 9.6 or 9.7 if memory serves. So at that time, they submitted one contract, and now we're splitting it into two parts. So what prompted us to split it into two parts when White had originally submitted a contract for basically the whole thing?
Because in talking to the other candidates, the spread was so great on general conditions, cost of insurance, and pre-construction that we didn't feel confident anybody had a good number that we could share with the public about those costs. In part because everybody was reacting to market conditions as they exist today, tariffs, border problems, all the rest, oil prices, which may not exist in a year and a half or two. So given the breadth of the spread, we decided we're not going to try and forecast and lock it in. The process was valuable in that regard, that we probably won't do worse than the 9 million, but we can probably do better.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Commissioner Jacks?
No questions. No.
Okay, thanks. I just want to make sure. All right. Thank you all very much. I know I appreciate the due diligence and the time and effort that was spent to get us here. So thank you very much to staff. All right, moving on to 7.4, draft 3-year financial plan 2026 to 2028.
Okay, so Director Dubiel and I are going to walk through just an overview of the 3-year financial plan for 2026 through 2028. This is a plan that we update on an annual basis about this time of year every year, looking at and utilizing our current year that we're working within as the baseline, and then projecting out for the next 2 years what we believe we're going to see as far as revenues and expenses. With that, all right. As we look to put together the 3-year plan, much like our budget, we're looking to maintain overall levels of excellence in those categories that you see on the slide. Our staffing, our programs and events, parks and facilities, just the overall quality of everything we provide, our financial stability, sustainability, and maintaining public trust. As we focus on the 3-year plan, really this plan is a roadmap for us, looking ahead to the next few years and looking ahead to as we prepare for the 2027 budget, basing the plan off of the district's master plan and the strategic plan, what some of those initiatives we have in place for the next few years, and taking those into account. We continue to focus on attracting and maintaining a qualified, loyal workforce and motivated workforce, and maintaining a district-wide culture that encourages innovation. And then we continue, as I mentioned previously on the slide before, to achieve excellence across all of the district operations when we look ahead to the overall financial plan.
All right. Good evening, everyone. As our Executive Director Wilson had stated, we approach this plan, it starts out with the current year budget for 2026, and then we make assumptions in operating revenues and expenses, and we combine them with the projects that are laid out in the 10-year capital plan to see how they all fit together, to see if it makes sense, and to determine if it is sustainable. The 3-year plan, as it is presented to you in this draft form, is sustainable and will maintain the district's positive financial position, ready to address unforeseen events and opportunities, and positioned to maintain the AAA bond rating. Assumptions are made and applied at a very high level. Our team does not dive into all the line item details. We will do that during the budgeting process. Assumptions are based on historical trends, what we know right now. There's also considerations for changes from the 2016 budget. So for example, there are certain projects that we complete every few years, like updating the website. It's done about every 5 years, so that expense is not included in 2026, but we bring it into the 2027 forecast. During this process, we also reach out to our financial and plan experts to gain insight and guidance on some of the major assumptions like CPI, health insurance costs, and IMRF contribution rates. So while the construction of the new Community Activity Center is slated for fiscal years 2027 through 2029, this plan excludes project expenditures and bond financing assumptions. It is just too early to make these assumptions as we're still defining the project schedule with our consultants. The only project considerations that are built into the plan are in 2028, and they include use of cash in lieu funds towards the financing, the construction of the new Community Activity Center, and expanding operations as we prepare to open the new Community Activity Center in 2029. Knowing that there is going to be a need for a manager at that facility. Next, I will discuss some of the highlights of the plan assumptions for operating expenses and revenues. Since this district is a service-based organization, the largest expense is wages and benefits. For 2027 and 2028, the plan assumes compensation adjustments of up to 4% for full-time employees. For part-time and seasonal staff, the plan also allows for a range up to 4% of wage increase. With over 850 part-time and seasonal staff, there is a wide range of variables that need to be considered when taking a look at wage increases. And this includes longevity, performance, and work schedules. We have many team members that are returning and have worked with the district for many years. We have some who just work a day or two or do a couple of classes a week. And we also have new hires. Some of them have their jobs for the first time. So considering this wide range of variables, an average increase of 3% has been applied to part-time wages. On the benefits side, for a variety of reasons, including the general state of the insurance market and claims experience, health insurance costs are expected to increase significantly. The plan is assuming a 15% increase in 2027 and a 10% increase in 2028. However, there is a lot of work to be done in this area. For IPBC, who's the administrator of our pooled health insurance that the district is a member of, is estimating that the medical plan as it exists today will increase by about 20%. Director Seppi will be working with the employee committee to talk through the plan and contribution modifications to offset this spike in premiums. For retirement, IMRF is estimating that the district's employer contribution rates will increase from 6.8% to 7.2% in 2027, and then decrease to 6.5% in 2028. These estimates have been used as an assumption in this plan. For commodities, equipment, fuel, and similar items, we're assuming some increases ranging from 3 to 7.5%. And during the budget process, these will be looked at in more detail. In 2027, funds have also been allocated to update the website and to conduct fire sprinkler testing, which is also conducted just about every 5 years. For 2028, funds have been allocated for a new performance platform and to perform dry fire sprinkler testing. To offset the increases in operating expenses, the plan is assuming capturing growth in the district's two largest revenue sources, property taxes and charges for services. Property taxes remain the #1 funding source for the district, estimated at about 58% of the 2027 revenues, and they are used to support operations, capital projects, and special recreation needs. This source of revenue is appreciated and there's great care and consideration that goes into allocating and utilizing these funds. The tax calculation included in these assumptions captures the allowable growth under the property tax extension limitation law to offset increases in operating expenses. For this levy year, the Illinois Department of Revenue has set CPI at 2.7%. This tax calculation also includes servicing $5 million of limited GO bonds that are earmarked in our 10-year capital funding plan to be issued in 2026. These funds take care of and improve what the district already has. Considerations for capturing these funds will be discussed with the Finance Committee and the Board in the upcoming months. The special recreation levy is set to capture the WDSRA dues, the capital plan's ADA qualified costs, and the anticipated need for inclusion services. It is estimated to come in well under the maximum 4 cents at 2.93 cents. The district's philosophy has been to levy only what it needs each year. These assumptions result in an estimated increase of about $18 to an average taxpayer, which is a tax bill of about $458 for a household that is valued at $550,000. But it's important to keep in mind that, we have to give some consideration when we're estimating the tax impact. There's just so many different factors that go into the calculation of a homeowner's assessed value. So really what the actual experience is going to be for a homeowner is going to be more of a range that will fall in between $15 to $20. The district's other major funding source is charges for services, which is estimated at about 29% for the 2027 revenues. These assumptions include programs and Centennial Beach revenues increasing about 5%, and Fort Hill programs and membership revenues increasing about 2%. As we get into the budget, individual programs will be looked at in more detail, and expenses will be evaluated to determine if fee increases are necessary. For golf revenues, we are estimating them to increase by 2%, which include minor fee adjustments. $1 increase for select cart fees, and 5% increase in membership fees. As we get out to 2028, there are more unknown variables, so more estimating is involved. The property tax calculation is assuming a 3.1% CPI, which is an estimate that is given from our advisors, our investment advisors, Sawyer and Fiduco. And when it is used to calculate the taxes, the estimated impact to a homeowner is an $18 increase on a tax bill of about $475 for a household that is valued at about $580,000. Once again, it's more likely going to fall into a range of $15 to $20. The special recreation levy rate is estimated at 2.88 cents of the possible 4 cents maximum. For the 2028 charges for services, which include programs, Fort Hill, and golf, we're assuming a modest increase ranging from 1 to 3%. So providing high levels of service and maintenance standards to the community continues to be a district's priority. This 3-year plan includes total capital spending of about $48 million, as it is laid out in the 10-year capital plan. Most of these projects take care of and improve what we have, which is a large capital system, and it includes many different types of projects, from environmental restoration and shoreline maintenance to replacing bridges and renovating parking lots, to renovating sports lighting systems and playgrounds. That's just to mention a few of the different types of projects that are in the plan. If you take a look at Addendum B in the plan, it is truly a great reference as it lists out the projects that are assumed in the capital plan for 2026 through 2028. The 10-year capital plan is supported by a long-term capital funding plan, which includes a variety of sources. The largest sources are property taxes and bond proceeds. And the utilization of the debt service extension base, or the DSEB, is one of the most important financing tools that are available to fund the 10-year capital plan. Capacity becomes available in 2027 and 2029 with the final maturity of the 2020 bonds in January of 2027 and of the 2016 bonds in January of 2028. This plan does assume that 5 million of limited GO bonds are issued in 2026 and 7 million are issued in 2028, utilizing that DSEB capacity as designated in the long-term financing plan. In addition to those funding sources, there are others, and they include grants, donations, investment income, cash in lieu, developer contributions, special rec funding for the ADA projects, and there are also transfers from the general fund and the Gulf Fund. An important philosophy that this board and Briar boards have maintained is that if there is a surplus in operating funds and they do better than we expect, those funds will be reinvested back into the community through capital investment into future capital projects. Over time, this has allowed the capital reserve balance to be where it is now, allowing for flexibility so the district can respond to challenges as well as to unique opportunities that may arise. And in anticipation of the new community center that we're anticipating will be opening in 2029, if the district ends 2026 in a better position than expected, funds may be used to strengthen reserves to support the expansion of operations, or they will continue to be reinvested back into the community towards future capital projects. With that, I'll hand it back over to Brad.
So as we look at the proposed 3-year financial plan, in summary, the district remains in a positive financial position with what is proposed within the plan. We continue to emphasize that importance of hiring and retaining that qualified, loyal, and motivated workforce that I mentioned before. And we continue to provide a variety of affordable recreation opportunities. As we look at program fees as part of the budget process, that's something that we're always looking at, is balancing and ensuring that our program fees are remaining affordable to residents. Generating alternative revenue will continue to be a focus to support the district's overall mission, whether that be through grants, sponsorships, or all the other alternative funding sources. We will continue to make that a priority. And the capital plan, as Director Dubiel mentioned, uses a diverse funding sources to be able to fund that overall plan. And then at the heart of it, we are always working from the strategic plan and our master plan as we're looking at various initiatives that are coming up and building those within the financial plan and ultimately the budget that will be presented later this year.
So with that, are there any questions?
Just for the board's knowledge on the insurance and IMRF, it's showing a smaller increase year over year in 2028 than 2027. Any idea why that is, or how they would even be able to predict that?
I don't have those details here, but I can definitely reach out to IMRF and
So
get back to you.
that data comes from them. They're basically predicting.
Correct. Yes.
Just kind of trying to understand how they could possibly predict that. Just curious. Okay, thanks.
It's a good question.
Yeah, let us know. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
I don't think so. Thank you very much for taking the time to go through that. It's really, really helpful for everyone to see and hear that together.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to the annual meeting. I will now turn the meeting over to Executive Director Wilson to conduct the election of the board president.
Thank you, President Ruffing. I will now accept nominations for the office of president.
I nominate Commissioner Leslie Ruffin.
Second.
If there are no further nominations, good.
Move to close the nominations for the office of president.
Second.
This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, when your name is called, please indicate your choice for the office of president. Marissa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Balakrishna,
President Ruffing.
Commissioner Jacks,
President Ruffin.
Commissioner Janner,
Leslie Ruffing.
Commissioner Risbald,
Leslie Ruffin.
Commissioner Ruffing,
Leslie Ruffing.
Commissioner Thompson.
Leslie Ruffing.
With 6 votes, Commissioner Leslie Ruffing is elected president again. Congratulations, President Ruffing.
Thank you. Okay.
Did I get something?
Oh. I will now accept nominations for the office of Vice President.
I nominate Rhonda Ansier.
If there are no further nominations, I will accept a motion to close the nominations for the office of Vice President.
Move to close the nominations for the office of Vice President.
Second.
This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, any opposed?
Aye.
All right. When your name is called, please indicate your choice for the office of Vice President. Marissa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Balakrishna,
Vice President Ansier.
Commissioner Jacks,
Vice President Ansier.
Commissioner Janner,
Rhonda Ansier.
Commissioner Risbald,
Rhonda Ansier.
Commissioner Ruffing,
Rhonda Ansier.
Commissioner Thompson.
Rhonda Ansier.
With 6 votes, Commissioner Ansier is elected Vice President. Congratulations, Vice President Ansier. And we'll now we'll move on to the appointment of Board Treasurer.
Move to appoint Tricia Dubiel as the Board Treasurer.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thompson,
Yes.
Commissioner Risbald,
Yes.
Commissioner Balakrishna,
Yes.
Commissioner Jacks,
Yes.
Commissioner Janner,
Yes.
President Ruffing.
Yes. And now appointment of Board Secretary.
Move to appoint Marissa Kula as Board Secretary.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thompson,
Yes.
Commissioner Risbald,
Yes.
Commissioner Balakrishna,
Yes.
Commissioner Jacks,
Yes.
Commissioner Janner,
Yes.
President Ruffing.
Yes. Thank you. All right. Our next scheduled meeting of the Board of Park Commissioners is June 25th, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. right here at Fort Hill. And we'll now move into executive session.
Move to adjourn to executive session to discuss land acquisition per Section 2C5 of the Open Meetings Act.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thompson,
Yes.
Commissioner Risbald,
Yes.
Commissioner Balakrishna,
Yes.
Commissioner Jacks,
Yes.
Commissioner Janner,
Yes.
President Ruffing.
Yes. Thanks, y'all. Get home safe. Everyone be careful, please.